All right, everybody, welcome back to the Big Blue Dynasty series here on Madden 24. So, in my previous video that I uploaded onto TikTok, I kind of showed how we got to this point. And what I'll most likely do too is make a little bit of a teaser, or you'll see the teaser the following weekend before this upload. And the goal here is to just show more about where I started. As you can see, we are at the Super Bowl, and as of this moment here, March 16th, I went ahead and updated everything that has happened so far. More specifically, I want to make sure I bring up some of the things here that I did. We went ahead and placed the trade here for Justin Fields, heading to the Steelers for a 2025 6th round pick. So we'll see what happens there with him being a backup for Russell Wilson, or maybe even starting over him. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out. There were some additional things that I did as well to ensure, the FA doesn't turn out to be quite a bit of a mess. So my hope is that I adjusted some things, because I've seen some stuff happen with Lane Johnson and Aaron Rodgers. When I click the sim button to move to the offseason, I don't know if that'll happen, but we'll definitely check that out. Updated some things with Jadeveon Clowney, retired some players that didn't even play last year, like Matt Paradis and Ben Jones. It also looks like DJ Humphries is also going to retire. Marvin Jones retired last year. Reduced some of the ratings for Jarvis Landry, Allen Robinson, Michael Gallup, Michael Thomas. I had to update the contract for Drew Lock. He's still 64 overall. And then release some of the players that currently don't have signings right now. Updated Titus Howard. He's supposed to be playing right tackle for the Texans. And then going from there. So, it is what it is. Jerome Baker got sent to the Seattle Seahawks as well. So, I'm looking forward to this series here. We're going to kind of see what happens. We're also using an updated draft class, which is for the 2024 draft class. Is coming from Falcons ATL. He updated the draft class as of March 15th. So this is his draft class right here. He even has sliders and stuff. But if you type in for his online ID, you can go ahead and select it. It will go here. So I honestly like this class. There are some things that should happen, hopefully throughout the mocks, but you never know. Teams do certain things. I went through every single team and made adjustments as far as their pickups, signings, releases, trades, things like that. But when I went through each team, you could see the priorities on the right side. And for some reason, certain teams are still not prioritizing spaces at which they are lacking. Chargers not responding for a wide receiver, as they only have 2 wide receivers on their roster, as well as the Cardinals not prioritizing the wide receivers. So I can't promise anything. My hope is that I can try to make it work as best as possible. Maybe we decide, right, to move back, maybe show some realism there on some stuff, but we'll work on the draft along the way. I can only do as best as I can do for this team and hope that everything works out. So we're gonna continue to draft as best as we can, and the hope is that players continue to fall to us in a way that will make it work. Now, one of the other things here to ensure, right, everything in the draft order is correct, you want to go ahead and go to the playoff, and you can click sim to force the win for the Chiefs to ensure the draft order at the end of the draft is also correct. So what we'll do on our end is we'll just kind of check out the Giants roster here. How good is this team? How does it look? And right now, this is where we stand. Andrew Thomas, left tackle. John Running at left guard. Schmitz at center. Illuminor playing right tackle or right guard. We'll see what happens there. Bellinger is leading the helm, as it looks like Waller is going to retire. Wide receiver group is lacking, right? You got Slayton, Robinson, McKenzie, and you got Jalen Hyatt, and that's pretty much it. Olszewski's a special teams guy. Hyatt can play that as well. Running back group's going to be led by Motor City or Motor Singletary. I think he's pretty good, man. And we'll got to figure out what we're going to do in that space. Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito there. They picked up Manhurst, Stoll, and extended Lawrence Cager as well. So we got quite a bit of tight ends on the roster. Defensive side, you got Jalen Mills, Javarius Owens, with Pinnock, Belton, and McLeod also received an extension this year. Linebacking group looks stupendous, right? Front seven looks ridiculous. Brian Burns, Okereke, Mike McFadden, Kayvon Thibodeau. Then we got some big dogs up front. Jordan Riley, Dexter Lawrence, and Nunez Roches. We'll kind of see what's going to happen. DJ Davidson's also in this group. Corner, you know, maybe this will be the year that Cordell Flott steps up and plays on the outside properly alongside Banks, but maybe that's something on the board for us. There's quite a bit of corners available in this free agency market, but we don't got a lot of cash, so we're going to have to play that smart there. I don't know how that all will come into fruition there. You know, Azeez Ojulari is that piece that, you know, I can see myself maybe moving him in to the sub linebacker position on the NASCAR package and kind of seeing how these guys all eat. So it's going to be fun, man. The special teams group, we got Gillen and Gano there. We'll see how far he drops Gano in this one, and you know, we'll make it all work out. I think this team's got some good pieces, but definitely offense is probably going to be part of the strategy in the draft, and we'll talk through that most likely in the later part of this episode here. Free agency may not go too crazy, but that is where we'll leave it, folks. So I did everything I could to get us to this point. We are going to finally push this button. That was 5 hours of work that I did prior to this recording here. And we'll see if everything sticks the way I hope it does. If it doesn't, continue to roll forward and we continue to have fun with the Giants team that we have. If the other parts don't work out, it is what it is, man. I got to keep going on with this series because I'm really interested in how we're going to rebuild this team that is honestly going through their true rebuild moments now. This process here with Joe and Dable. So the results are in here, and it should show that the Chiefs did win, and they did win. 28-18 here. Patrick Mahomes MVP, which is kind of cool. That's exactly what happened in the Super Bowl. Now let's see what the retirements look like, right? Does everything work out the way I hope? Case Keenum decides to retire. Hughes, Oak, Cameron Hayward in this series has decided to retire. Demario Davis as well. Taysom Hill, Cameron Jordan. So the Saints will have some cap space here in this series. That's going to be neat. See how that works out. John Johnson, even though he was extended, retired. Slater's gone. Jansen, Bridgewater, Billy Turner. So Rodgers is good. Brandon Graham retired in this series. I kind of expected that to happen. And everything else, honestly, didn't get broken. So Lane Johnson's still here, which is nice. Aaron Rodgers is still here, which is nice. For some reason, Jason Kelce didn't retire, even though I forced that to happen as far as his age and everything. So that's kind of hilarious, along with Fletcher Cox. So we shouldn't see them in the free agency. But pretty interesting setup right now. So nothing too chaotic here, which isn't bad. The Saints are just going to get a break. Demario Davis can still play pretty well. Taysom Hill's probably, you know, doing what he needs to do, and Cam Jordan's pretty lights out. So the fact that those guys are gone, it is what it is there. But some of these other guys, no one really kills this series in any way. Bridgewater retiring is exactly what happened. Al Woods retiring. I think the Graham is just a little off, but at least nothing else crazy. Kelvin Beachum retiring kind of makes sense too. So kind of cool. I kind of like it. And, you know, we just got to continue to fight forward here. And hopefully we can get some decent re-signings along the way. You know, we got 62 players on the roster. We have 45.7 million of available cap space, which honestly, I don't think it's going to equate to that much because the following year we're going to be hurt. So I got to be smart with it. We got draft picks. You know, we got to figure out how all that's going to work out. But, you know, let's check out some of the staff moves along the league. Anything happen? Looks like just the Saints picking up an OC, so no one is doing anything. I mean, the Patriots picking up an OC, so nothing crazy there. So prior to us re-signing, it looks like we do have a mock draft. Let's check that out real quick. What does it state for us? So they looks like 1, 2, 3 is going to happen, and it looks like in this setup here, again, right? You got Marvin Harrison falling to us, Joe Alt, Dallas. Some of these moves make kind of a lot of sense. Bowers getting to the Jets is kind of a clean move there for Shanu. Not a bad initial one. Neighbors falling. Usually this one's kind of interesting, but then after the free agency market, maybe we'll see some stuff move around. Now, the fact that the Cardinals are going after a right end their priorities that I saw was like a defensive end, O-line, and wide receiver was not a priority. Same thing with the Chargers. So strange, right? Chargers lose Keenan Allen. They lose Mike Williams. All they have on the roster is Palmer and Davis for wide receivers, and they still aren't focused in that space in this mock. So kind of interesting, but you know, I can't force that. All I got to do is roll with it. If Marvin Harrison Jr. did fall to me, you know, maybe we make a decision. But even then, I don't think I can force a QB here. But 1, 2, 3 kind of makes a whole lot of sense, and we'll, you know, I think that's going to be kind of fun to see how those teams play out. But for us, you know, we got to roll with what's best for the Giants. So as far as re-signing moments here, we only got 8 players here with $46 million. For some reason, Devin Singletary's on this list, which we should keep him. Jashaun Corbin, he wants to move on. We'll probably have to look at him down the road. Hurt, he was a part of the Gettleman regime. We won't do that. Deion Jackson would like to come back. Looks like he really wants to come back, but I just don't see myself, you know, trying to bring him in for a huge amount of money. I'll give him some like less guaranteed money, but yeah, it is what it is there. I can't do that. Horn, nope. Brown, nope. Ward, so none of those guys. So we'll see what happens with the Singletary move. And the reason why I say that is that as far as his contract is concerned, it's really strange. So I was able to update Singletary's contract, thank goodness. And what that means is we should be able to keep him, but if not, I'll try to re-sign him during the period and I should be able to snag him up. But you know, we don't have any other players here. I think our team's in a decent spot, so we'll be down to like 58 players, or probably less than that, probably like 56 players. So I think the Giants are in a decent spot. You know, we'll see what happens across the league. I wonder if some other teams have decided to snag some guys or not, but it looks like, you know, Rousseau gets a 5th-year option, Surtain does, Rashawn, Donovan Smith gets extended, Mecole Hardman gets extended. You got some, you know, guys just getting some 5th-year deals here. CJ Henderson looks like he got extended over there. John Johnson sticking with the Rams. You know, he was a big advocate for some free agents currently in real life, so that's kind of neat. He's going to stay there. Roach is staying with the Saints. You got Darisaw getting a 5th year. Then you got some other guys. Yeah, I tried to extend Noah Brown. For some reason, they cut him. Brandon Powell, same thing. Tried to give him an extension. Rudolph, same thing. Nick Westbrook-Akine, same thing. I tried to keep those guys there, and the game's like, no, Jack, you're going to have to deal with some of this. McManus, same thing. Fowler, same thing. Mariota. Crowder, it's insane, but you know, you do what you can, and sometimes the game just doesn't want to keep them. They will make their choices after the extensions. You know, I kind of wish we could start at Austin Hooper, Jacoby Brissett, like Devon Gotcha. Wow, there's some guys who got cut. Pretty Andy Dalton, wild. So some, you know, even when you try to do it, once you unleash it to the team, you know, it is what it is. Oh, Zach Wilson getting cut. That actually kind of makes sense right there. With Tyrod Taylor going, Jenkins getting cut. So there's some. Leonard Floyd, I put him on the right team. Brandon Allen, put him on the right team. Juwan Jennings, same thing. They just Tyler Heineke, that one's wild. Kind of crazy when you see some of these moves. Like I said, I tried to keep Jordy Fortson. I put him on the Dolphins along with Berrios, Walker. Yeah, they're probably out of money. Cedric Wilson got booted. I think he's on a different team. I can't recall, but Trey Lance is gone. Jordan Lewis, I tried to extend him. That didn't work out. Looks like Cowboys are in cap hell. Joe Flacco, I tried to put him on the Colts. They said no, thank you. They didn't want to deal with that. Parham gets cut. Interesting moves by some of these guys. Zach Pascal gets released. They don't even have any receivers, dude. It really is like Zach Pascal getting cut right there. The Cardinals have zero money. It's pretty insane. I mean, zero receivers. It's Mike Wilson and Greg Dortch. Because you're white. And they released Greg. This is crazy. Edmonds I extended. It didn't work out. Gage is gone. Hines I put him on the Browns. Cooper, he's released. I could see that. Like the Browns could be doing some funky things, man. They had him as wow. Broncos cut. They don't have any quarterbacks on their roster now. Matt Collins, I try to put him on the team. He gets cut. Trent Irwin extended. He gets cut. Cody, whoa, this is a big one. Cody Whitehair getting cut by the Bears. There's some pretty interesting moves here. So we already got some decent free agents out there. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works out. But our Giants are in a decent spot. We'll see our OVR drop quite a bit here, but. They're dropping down to 75 now. So definitely some players got smoked. And, look at this. The Chiefs decided to let Snead walk. That's pretty interesting. You got Amari Cooper out there. He's trying to find a home. Trent Brown's trying to find a home. Trey White. Bakhtiari is trying to find a new spot. Micah Hyde. Xavier Howard. So there's some pretty good players out here. As far as quarterbacks, you got some dudes out here that are trying to find a new home, and we'll see how that works out. Running backs. So this is Singletary. I think what we're going to do here is he was asking for, we gave him a 3-year deal. I think what we're going to do on our end is we're going to have to probably amp it a little bit since we got extra money too. I'll just do that and see if that works out and puts us in the right spot there. It does not. It looks like the Raiders really like him. Wow. So for some reason, Devin Singletary seems to have been brought over here. And I cannot figure out why. So what we're going to do is every time someone tries to pick him up, we'll just cancel it until the very end when it'll be available. And then I'll snag him up in the end. And hopefully we'll be able to move on from it and get it done. So Devin Singletary is the only one that kind of gets messed up here for the Giants, but it is what it is. I'm not too worried right now. You got wide receivers out there, right? Mike Williams trying to find a new home. You got Odell Beckham, Hunter Renfrow, Richie James. There's some pretty decent guys out here that are looking for a new team. As far as tight ends are concerned, again, some decent, okay tight ends. Looks like Trent Brown's looking for a spot. Bakhtiari trying to get a new place as well. You got Josh Jones out there. So with the first, pick, first free agent stage here, there's some players that we could take a chance on with the money we got, right? We got $45.7 million. It's kind of insane here. So, I kind of want to see what can happen. With some of these guys. Connor McGovern looks like he got cut from the Jets, so they are gonna rock with their guys. Zeitler's out there. That'd be kind of neat. I think our tackle situation's honestly in a way better spot than it once was. You got some defensive ends here that we could take a chance on. Kind of bring in some guys here that might work out for us. You got nothing too crazy, but these are players that could help kind of fill out that D-line 100%. Chase Young, look at that. He's 24 years old, 79 overall, and he's got 13 offers out there. So there are some teams that want him. Mike Donna coming from the Chiefs. Looks like he's moved on. People want him, Jadeveon Clowney. There's some guys out here that are pretty okay. Linebackers. Oh, see, I put Kendricks. That's the tough part. I had Kendricks on the Cowboys, and looks like he still got cut. Kyle Van Noy, Travis Gibson, and this is the spot right here. Corner market has to be popping off. Eventually, we'll see how that works out. But Snead's probably he's got a ton. Gilmore, Trey White's got some guys. Xavier Howard. It's gonna be neat to see how these guys go. Simmons, the free safety market is honestly quite stale. And this might be a spot for us to maybe find a guy, right? Simmons does want to play for us. That would be a big splash and would kind of make sense with how we make this work. Kind of neat, but you know, again, like I said, it's just because of the cap that Madden has, you know, I'm left open. But for me, I'm going to look at anybody that's in the green or yellow in the first rounds. So rather than going through the entire free agency moment here, I kind of just wanted to just summarize what we have done in this free agency. No crazy hitters, but to me, I think they all help build this team up in the right areas. So we had to go ahead and fetch out Devin Singletary here to make sure he's on his team. I updated his contract, so it is $16.5 million for 3 years. We went ahead and found a diamond in the rough, in my opinion, coming over from the Chiefs, who won the Super Bowl. Mike Donna, I think, can really help us out in the trenches. He's young, 25 years old. It kind of matches up with what we're trying to do here with bringing on players that aren't too crazy old, you know, and there's nothing wrong with bringing in some veterans, and we'll talk through that in a second here. But I wanted to make sure that we brought in some guys that I think can really work out for us for the long term. But we signed up for a 2-year deal for about $18 million. I went ahead and tried to do something here that's a little bit more towards more of a personal or emotional tie to it, right? The Giants went ahead and lost Saquon Barkley. So he went to the enemy, and Avonte Maddox got cut by the Eagles with talks of maybe him going back. In my opinion there, I think there's a little bit of animosity that we can tie to it, and I decided to bring in Avonte Maddox. His contract isn't that crazy. 3 years for $18 million, so $6 million a year for a guy that can play on the slot. With what I'm trying to think about doing on the outside CB role, Avonte Maddox can really lock it down in the interior. Along with him, Trey Hawkins, and some other cats that we got on the group. I wanted to bring a decent veteran in Cedric Wilson. This guy can catch the ball, in my opinion. He's not the fastest, but it's a good veteran to me that can really help us out. So that's why I decided to bring him in. His catching is an 85, and to me, that's very reliable for the quarterback that could be here either for the future or our current quarterback in Daniel Jones. Trying to help bring in some more veterans here on the safety group, right? Jalen Mills is there, and I thought Ronnie Harrison Jr. could be a nice fit for us. He's not asking for a whole lot of money. It's honestly pretty chill. $5.6 million for 2 years, and he can compete there. We got Pinnock, we got Mills. Those are pretty much the only veterans there, and it'll be nice to see what we can do with Harrison in the mix. Halfback is in need. Without Saquon Barkley, we got Singletary. I wanted to figure out some other players to bring in to kind of play that secondary role, right? And J.K. Dobbins, we brought him in for a cheap deal. $4 million, $2 million's guaranteed. Nothing too crazy here. If we don't like him, we can cut him. So I think that really works out for us. I found a veteran in Unique Ngakoue. Cheap deal in the later stages, and to me, I think that's going to help us out because we don't have a whole lot of defensive ends on the line. We don't have a lot of line on the roster, so that's going to help us out. I saw another guy here, a former 5th rounder coming from the Titans last year, but he played for the Bears when he was drafted by them. And Gibson, I think, has some possibilities here. He has a motor, and to me, with his height and length, it could really help us out on the edges if necessary, and we tend to have injuries on this team quite a bit, so I think that could really be pretty clean for us. As you can see, I went ahead and brought in a couple more corners. Christian Fulton, this guy right here was a day 2 draft pick for the Titans and just didn't really work out for them. I think he could work out for us. He has some abilities to play on the outside, but mainly play slot. And along with him and Bryce Hall coming over from the Jets, I think this is a great move for us. Guys that are coming or heading towards their second contract, or we're on their second contract with Bryce Hall, these guys are going to be pretty clean for us. So again, we're kind of tight, prepping ourselves for the draft, as there's a chance we may not grab a corner in the early rounds. Without that second round pick that we traded away for Brian Burns, I wanted to make sure we were clean there. As you can see, I brought another halfback in Damian Harris, coming over from the culture of the Bills. Dable and Shane know him very well, or don't know him very well, but they know him. Dable may know him a little bit more since Harris was on the Patriots, but the way I look at it is, again, these guys aren't asking for a whole lot of money. We're looking at a 2-year deal, $3 million. I can cut him if necessary, 1.5 split between 2 years, not a big deal. This is another one where I'm not worried, right? Chase Claypool, a former, so I think it was a 2nd round pick for the Bears, for the Steelers. I think Chase Claypool can be a nice player for, maybe it was a 1st round pick. Let me check that real quick. He might have been a 1st rounder. He was a 2nd rounder, yeah. Pick number 17 in the 2nd round. So to me, with Chase Claypool, this is like no gamble, no craziness for me. I'm not sweating it. He's 25 years old, still got some speed with him. He's a different type of receiver. So him and Cedric Wilson kind of add a different element to the roster that we didn't have. We got Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton. Those guys aren't really big targets. So my hope is to find some guy like Chase Claypool and kind of help us out there. This is more of a tie to the Commanders, Kaliki Hudson. I like this guy coming out of college, and I saw his ability. He's got good speed on him, ability to accelerate, and he's honestly a pretty decent depth piece for us in the linebacker spot. I was able to bring back somebody straight off the couch here in Justin Pugh. For me, he's a mentor, can help out with the O-line, and you know, secure us just in case something were to happen on the left side, right? We got a Zudu there who could play left tackle, but I think he was forced to. So I just figure out, you know, let's let him mentor him and kind of grow in that space. I found some depth here. Chris Boyd. This is a guy I actually liked out of college as well. I thought he just didn't really have a chance, got the right chance. So I think, you know, we'll see how it works out. If he ends up doing his thing, then he'll play and maybe find some room for us, but I'm hoping for some good things. Austin Johnson. So Austin Johnson's a 68 overall guy. What I like about him is he did used to play for the Giants at one point in his career. He's a decent veteran, 8 years in the NFL. So actually 9, because anytime they say 8, it means they don't count their rookie. So Penn State guy, he's 30 years old. He's a big guy, 6'4", 314. I just need some guys to hold the line. I want my edge rushers to go at guys, so that's what I'm hoping. So those were our picks. That's what I decided to do there. Again, no crazy stuff, you know, no big moves, but we filled the roster in a way that I think can help us out. And when you look at across the league here, definitely interested in seeing what other teams decided to do in the positions, right? So it looks like Zach Wilson, he took a 4-year deal for about $15 million to be a backup QB over in Chicago. Heineke as well. You got Skylar Thompson heading to the Commanders. Nick Mullins going over to the Chiefs. Halfback Raheem Mostert ends up going to the Raiders. Ezekiel Elliott, I could see this happening, right? They lose Pollard. They don't sign any crazy players due to the cap issues that they have. So they're going to go ahead and just bring in Ezekiel Elliott to finish his career there. 2-year deal, honestly not bad. About $5.5 million a year. That's not a bad move for them. Cam Akers going to the Chargers. You got, wow, David Johnson's still in the NFL in the series. Kind of crazy. Wide receivers, you got Amari Cooper heading to the Lions. So the Lions, I think they're just trying to go ham here. Kind of interesting that they did that, right? That's a $80 million deal, $20 million a year. Browns cutting him is a shocker, but you know, I've seen some crazier things along the way here in Madden. They're going to probably prioritize other positions on the team, and Amari Cooper just is a little older, and it's kind of surprising though. When you look at this guy's stats, it's pretty crazy how good Amari Cooper is. Amari Cooper has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons of freaking 1,000-yard years. 1,000 yards, he's had 7 out of his 9-year career. So people try to think he's a bust. You're insane. you think that way. This guy really made it work. And he's a pretty good player, and he's always just a good character. So Lions got a good thing there. Him paired up with Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a pretty sick combination. And freaking Jameson Williams over there. They're going to be on a very, very good spot. Now, Mike Williams, he's been visiting some teams across the league right now in real life. He looked at the Panthers, but it looks like Aaron Rodgers has a new target, and it is freaking Mike Williams over there. Really nice move for them. I think that's a great deal. And, you know, he didn't ask for much. Looks like $21 million for 3 years. Not a bad play. And then you got Odell Beckham Jr. going to the Bears. That receiver core is so stacked, it is unbelievable. Keenan Allen was traded from the Chargers over there. Now they got Odell Beckham Jr. They are locked and ready to roll here for their future quarterback. Wish them the best of luck. Tyler Boyd heading to the Saints. With the Saints getting a couple players retiring, that left some room there, and I think they might have an opportunity to grab some guys. But Boyd is a new potential target for Derek Carr. Hunter Renfrow, you know, was cut by the Raiders. He's going to the Steelers, so he's going to be a target for either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. Donovan Peoples-Jones is heading to the Bears. Richie James to the Titans. Russell Gage to the Bucks. Noah Brown heading to the Titans. Michael Gallup going back to the Cowboys. Josh Reynolds to the Cowboys. Woods is a Viking. KJ Osborne heading to the Ravens. Juan Jennings to the Chargers. We'll look at the top tight ends, and it looks like no one got signed. Wow. So the tight end group in Madden seems to be the place where people don't go after them. They wait for the preseason. Now, I thought this was kind of neat here. Trent Brown heading to the Rams. They don't have a solidified left tackle, so I think that's a good move for them to bring in a veteran that can help out and maybe make one more last ride there for that crew. They got a good receiver core, but with no Aaron Donald, they need to protect Stafford to try to see if they can make it work. Bakhtiari has went ahead and accepted a deal for a little over $34 million. And he's going to go ahead and head to New England to be their new left tackle. Charles Leno, he's going to be the left tackle for the Titans. So that might shake some things up here in the next mock because, you know, they do need a tackle. So we'll see what happens to Leno there. Andres Pete going to the Chiefs as they extended Donovan Smith already. Left guard. Positions here. These ones, I'm going to look at just the top three. Isaiah Wynn heading to the Raiders. They're solidifying that line there. Laken Tomlinson, good veteran. He's going to the Cards. And then you're looking at Dalton Reisner heading to the Jets. So again, this the Jets group is, you know, solidifying that line to protect Rodgers. This is a nice little move right here. Connor Williams is going to go ahead and reunite with the Cowboys, whom he was drafted by. They lost Tyler Beatis to the Commanders, so now they got this guy here. Not a bad move. Brian Allen going to the Seahawks, and Nick Gates also to the Seahawks. Kevin Zeitler. So the Eagles lose Jason Kelsey as a veteran on that O-line, and they bring in a big dog. I'm a big fan of Kevin Zeitler. When he was with the Giants, it was so nice to have a guy like that, and you know, they got a steal. It's like $10 million for a guy like that. Eagles continue to find players, man. It's kind of amazing here. Trey Turner heading to the Raiders. Van Rotten to the Packers. Mekhi Becton is going to go ahead and sign with the Steelers here. Kind of interesting, you know, with them bringing in Morgan Moses. You were trying to figure out where he was going to go. Mekhi Becton is going to the Steelers. Now he's got some injury issues, so you know, we'll see what happens there. Ogba is heading to the Rams. White to the Lions, and Kaminsky to the Panthers. Puna Ford going to the Cowboys. Sebastian Joseph Day. Tyler Tart going to the Chargers, which is hilarious. In my other series, Tart is a guy I brought in. Devon Godshaw got cut by the Patriots, and he's going to the Saints. Justin Jones to the Bears. Chase Young is the new heir apparent there for Khalil Mack and Bosa. Now it's going to be Bosa, Khalil Mack, and freaking Chase Young on that line. It's going to be fun to watch. Barnett to the Bucks. Wise to the Cardinals. Lawson to the Bears. Clowney is a commander. That's freaking scary. I got to deal with that guy twice a year. O'Shane Zimenez, former Giant, going to the Raiders. Eric Kendricks, like I said, I had him on the Cowboys because that's where he was supposed to go. He was actually going to another team and then turned it down to go play in Dallas to run with Zimmer, and ends up getting cut by the Cowboys, hilariously enough. And now he's with the Lions, so that's going to be scary to see how that works out. David Long ends up going to the Cowboys. Walker to the Broncos. Kazir White to the Lions. This is a good move here. I think this can fit them. Isaiah Simmons is I guess, going to be the new cat there to replace Demario Davis, who retired. So we'll see how that works out. Deion Jones to the Chargers. Now, Nicholas Moreau is going back to the Raiders where he used to play. I had him on the freaking Eagles, but I guess they said no thank you. Cal Van Oig to the Bucks, Zach Cunningham to the Falcons, and then this is the big move right here. L'Jarius Sneed got the bag, 3 years, $55 million going to the Broncos. I guess the Chiefs just did not have enough money to keep him, and that's tough there. Trey White, though, going to the Lions, I think that's a great move. He gets to play in a dome now versus the crazy weather in Buffalo. That's going to be fun to see, and it looks like the Lions doubled down. Now, they got Carlton Davis already, so they now bring in a good 2 other veterans here in Trey White and Xavier Howard. So the Lions really honing in on that defense. That's going to be pretty fun to watch right there. Pat Pete going to the Raiders, Adoree Jackson to the Rams, Mosley to the Chargers, Okudah going to the Chargers, so some pretty good moves there. Simmons is an Eagle, which is kind of insane. Again, I don't know why that keeps happening there. So we're probably going to cancel that trade. That's the only one that I'm just like, it doesn't make sense. You already brought in CJ Gardner-Johnson. It doesn't make sense to do. So, well, I guess that there were talks of them trying to figure out how to bring him in. So maybe we won't cancel that one. But if it is what I think here, nope. Jamal Adams going to the Bucks. I think that's a good move. Julian Blackmon to the the Broncos. That's a good move. Von Bell to the Falcons. Terrell Edmonds to the Packers. So, okay. So I thought Adams was going to go to the Eagles, but Simmons to the Eagles isn't as crazy now, because there has been talks of trying to figure out a way to bring him in. I know he's asking for money, but it is what it is there. So we got 69 players heading into this next season, which is kind of cool. We got a full roster there. Our team, honestly, is not in a bad spot as we head into this draft. It's going to be pretty fun to see what we can do there when we go ahead and cycle some of this stuff. You know, we'll kind of fix that along the way. But the wide receiver core, you know, we got in some decent guys. You know, just 2 additions there, and they'll compete. I think the running back crew is going to be pretty fun with Dobbins and Harris now added to this bunch. On the defensive side, you know, we added some guys like Gibson and Khaleke Hudson, Unique Ngakoue and Donna. So the defensive line looks pretty clean. I think the corner group's going to be really fun to see how that works out. With Avonte Maddox playing in the slot, Flott playing on the outside. We're going to really mix up the corner group, and who knows, maybe we have the opportunity to draft one of them. This is going to be fun. I think we've set ourselves up for a decent draft, and that'll be pretty fun on that one. Now, the last mock here, you know, we look at the previous mocks, you know. So when you look at the draft, the mock draft here, there was some pretty interesting moves that were occurring in the first couple mixes of it. We only get 3 mock drafts because we started in the Super Bowl time. You know, we'll kind of see how this kind of comes into fruition here. You got the initial moves right now is Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May in this mock. Jared Verse, it was looking to go to the Cardinals with Fuaga going to the Chargers. And they got us with freaking Marvin Harrison. Joe Alt, Dallas Turner. Brock Bowers looks to be the next guy going to the Jets here in this mock. Quinion Mitchell falling to the Broncos, right? And as you can see throughout this free agency, some changes happen. Maurice Mims to the Bengals would be not a bad move. JJ McCarthy falling to the Vikings there. Sue Maitai going to the Bills. So some pretty cool moves there. Then you go to the second mock and some changes start to happen. You know, Jared Verse is no longer there in the top, and it looks like Joe Alt ends up being projected to go to the Cardinals. They don't have a left tackle. They need a left tackle. They got enough money. Don't know why they haven't made a move. It's really strange. They don't even have wide receivers on the roster. So I'm really interested in seeing how all that's going to work out. It's going to be pretty funky, but we'll see how that goes down the road there. Talise Fuaga continues to stay in one spot. And then look at this. Olu Fashanu is projected to go to the Titans. And this is before the Charles Leno acquisition. Dallas Turner still unwavering, and then Byron Murphy is projected to go to the Bears there. Brock Bowers, still staying put there with the Jets. Quinion Mitchell, same thing. So some pretty interesting moves here. Terrion Arnold to the Jaguars. Kool-Aid McKinstry to the Rams. So some pretty interesting moves here. Nothing too crazy. Now, when you look at the last mock here, this one was kind of unwavering on the first top 6 picks, right? But then there you go. Titans are looking to move up and say, you know what, we need a weapon for our quarterback in Will Levis. So we're going Brock Bowers. Falcons are saying, dude, in this mock, it looks like that's 3 in a row. Dallas Turner seems to be the guy. Byron Murphy to the Bears. Quinion Mitchell, because they lose out on Brock Bowers, they grab a true number 2 corner that'll be alongside Sauce Gardner. Looks like the Vikings are really, they continue to be mocked here. They really like Leatu Latu, Cooper DeJean, Olu Fashanu going to the Saints. I think that's a really good move for them, knowing that they got Trevor Penning really not doing so great. And then the Colts end up falling. End up getting a guy who continues to fall, but is a great pick in Jared Verse. That helps their line. Jerzon Newton is a true Saints move, Seahawks move. Terrion Arnold seems to be good. Amarius Mims to the Bengals makes sense. Kool-Aid seems to be projected properly there. And this is sick. Malik Neighbors falls all the way to number 21. I don't know how this continues to happen, but it is pretty insane. JJ McCarthy looking to be traded here, drafted by the Vikings. Now, who knows what we do in the draft? Maybe we decide to move up and snag up JJ, right? Like if we did that and we went after JJ McCarthy, maybe around here, how would that make or change things? So if we were to trade maybe with the Seahawks or maybe with the AFC Jaguars, right? Could we move up to 17 or maybe move like right around here? Would that change things, right? So kind of trying to understand this mock here. Jordan Morgan to the Cards. So the Cardinals decide to go after. This is a weird mock because the Cardinals already got Joe Alt. And if you double down and go after Jordan Morgan, that is weird. I don't know why the Cardinals would do that. Maybe because they need another. I don't know, man. Cardinals they're a weird bunch. Edward Cooper to the Buffalo Bills would be nice, but they need a tackle, based on projections. Sue Maitai. This one's kind of interesting here. Maybe the Lions are like, you know what? We got to prep for Decker not being so great. Maybe they move him onto the inside where Jonah Jackson was too. Tyler Nubin, considered the best safety in the draft. I don't think that's a bad move for them. And then Devondre Sweat going to the Chiefs here. Now, Worthy had a ridiculous freaking combine. So I thought Worthy would be projected to go there. But they do got Hollywood Brown. So, like I said, a pretty interesting group. I think we got a good setup for the draft. We just got to hope it works out. I think our team's done everything we could possibly do to set us up for success. We just have to hope it works out. Like I said, I think we did all the right things. I think we set up everything we could possibly do to ensure our team's in the right spot. So now it's time to set up and get ready for the draft. So the big trade that will occur prior to this draft that we're going to see is something that has been predicted so far. The Vikings are looking to use that trade that they had against the Texans to grab that first round pick to bring in the 5th overall pick in the draft. So they're going to be giving up pick number 11 and 23, along with pick number 5 of the round number 5, 5th round pick in the 2025 draft, and a 4th round pick in the 2024 draft. When you look at the draft calculator, or the trade calculator, which is the Fitzgerald-Spielberg evaluation, which you can find on over the cap, and you were to place this trade, it would surely show that the Chargers are getting an advantage here. From an overall standpoint, knowing that they're going to try to go for a quarterback, getting those 2 first-round picks makes a whole lot of sense, but having a couple other late-round picks in the future, I think, are also some nice little teasers that they can get there. So it does favor the Chargers by quite a bit, but in return, though, the Chargers get an opportunity to build within the draft, maybe get the O-lineman that they were probably looking to get in the later rounds, along with maybe a corner or something like that. So this is what we're going to do, and this is how we will set up the trade here for the Chargers and the Vikings. That means the Vikings go for a quarterback. Now, another move that I could see happening is trying to send Jack Conklin to another team. Jack Conklin has had some sporadic issues throughout his tenureship in Cleveland. He had some time over in Tennessee, and playing over in Cleveland, you just haven't seen much come out of him. He's been injured quite a bit of times now since coming over. So the Browns could look to trade him, and the Chargers are going to stay active. Knowing that Conklin still has a decent amount of years in him, and they do want a right tackle, I think giving up one of their 4th round picks is an easy move to ensure that they could potentially try to sign him now, and they get some depth on the O-line to help themselves out, which allows them to, again, give them possibilities with those 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft. So to recap, prior to the draft, there's been some moves that have occurred throughout the league, which for me, I just felt like there was a ways to kind of mix it up and allow me to just see the draft in a different light. But some movement occurred after the first 3 picks, but we'll talk through everything along the way. The Browns went ahead and traded Jack Conklin over to the Chargers. Chargers need a right tackle according to their needs, but also they have DeJuan Jones already, so they don't have any concerns there. It also helps them from a cap perspective to kind of get back into the flat. When it comes to the Chargers, there was a lot of movement that did occur. You were talking about the Chargers trading their 5th overall pick to the Vikings, and in return, they received a 2026 4th, 2025 5th, and 2 first-round picks. So that helps them out from that perspective and allows a chance for the Chargers to continue to develop this team over time. You also saw the Lions trade. They went ahead and sent Brady Christensen over to the Panthers for a 6th round pick. Brady Christensen was behind the newly acquired Damian Lewis, and the Lions do need a left guard, knowing that Jonah Jackson is gone. So they figured that ups their brand and lets them move forward. You also saw that the Lions are looking to move on from Taylor Decker, so they are projected to grab a tackle in this year's draft. So they're going to go ahead and trade Taylor Decker to the Cardinals, who need a left tackle. And in return, the Lions get a 5th round pick. We had a late round pick trade occurring for the Seahawks. Seahawks trying to take some cap off their board here. Tyler Lockett, the long tenured Seahawk, is going to head to the Raiders, who the Raiders are looking to just kind of bring in some more veterans to wrap around their quarterbacks, similar to what the Bears are preparing to do with Caleb Williams. So Tyler Lockett heads to the Raiders. They have plenty of cap, and they're going to go ahead and in return send them a 7th round pick. So when you look at our board, we got quite a bit of players on this one here, and we have it set up based on position. Quarterback's definitely on our list here, every one of them at the very top. But I am looking at potential here. If we were to draft someone like Spencer Rattler, what would his OVR look like, and what possibilities are there? I am looking at some potential UDFAs to take a chance on, like Joe Milton or Jordan Travis or Devin Leary. Who knows, maybe they can develop into something special down the road if we wait on a QB. Now this year, the QB is very top heavy, so if we don't get our guy now, we're going to have to figure out what are we going to do later. Tommy DeVito isn't necessarily set in stone, right? Drew Lock is, and Daniel Jones. So maybe there could be a QB3 here that we could take on and have them sit for a year. In the halfback role, I'm looking at maybe a mid-rounder like Bucky Irving or day 3 guy like Ray Davis and the combine gem in Isaac Guerrero. The guy had a ridiculous combine, and maybe he falls a little bit and gives us a chance maybe in the 5th round or so. The wide receiver spot is where I have quite a bit of players that I'm looking at in the early rounds. It would be nice to have someone like Roman Dunze or Malik Neighbors, but if Marvin Harrison falls to us at pick 6, more power to us after all the moves that have happened ahead of us. Adonai Mitchell is another one that's kind of interesting. Ladd McConkey had a great combine. I would be interested in someone like Xavier Legette. He's a bigger kind of receiver, kind of in between what we have, and I'd like to see that. Ricky Pearsall is another guy who could be a little surprising for us too. Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk, Malachi Corley, and Jerry Rice's son, Brendan Rice. The tight end group, again, it's more mid-round, day 2 to day 3 kind of guys. And some of these guys have some versatility here that I would really like on my end. But Jatavian Sanders is the best tight end in my board at this time. The O-line, top heavy once again. We are always going to look at tackles, and Morgan and Suamaitai are definitely someone who can fall into the guard position. So, but if Joe Alt or Fashano are there, maybe we trade back and give someone else a chance to grab them and allow us to move back. Looking at some day 2 guys, Cooper Beebe and Dominic Pooney at left guard. Runyon can play right guard, so that gives us a chance. I am looking at some potential center backups that had a really good combine as well, Bo Limmer and Tanner Bartoloni. Right guard, Graham Barton, Christian Haynes, and Christian Mahogany. These are guys that I've been watching throughout the draft, throughout this year, and I think they'd play pretty nasty for us too. So right guard isn't necessarily set in stone for the future. Illuminor and Neal aren't necessarily the end-all be-all for us. And the right tackle spot, we're definitely focusing on at the top pin, but there was a guy I really liked out of South Dakota. Didn't necessarily have the greatest of combines, but I think he's got some agility possibilities here, a decent change of direction on him, and if he's a late round pick, I'd say take a chance on him and allow him to develop in the back end with the rest of the O-line crew. The defensive ends, Darius Robinson, we went ahead and scouted him. It looks like he is projected to be more of a round 2, round 3. So if we do draft him, we'd have to take him in the 2nd round. I don't know if he makes it to us in the 3rd based on his projection. Marshawn Nealon, on the other hand, though, there's a chance that maybe we can wait on him. He's a different type of rusher, not part of our scheme. So he's 6'3", 267, a little thinner. Didn't have the greatest of combines, but the way I look at it is having that, that type of athlete on the team, maybe we can mold him into something. And then I looked at Brandon Dorless out of Oregon. Right end, Jared Verse, and then there was a guy here that I saw as maybe a late round pick, Logan Lee. For me, he was one of the stronger guys. The rest of the combine wasn't so great, but I look at it as like, you got strength, we can probably leverage that down the road. We just need someone to kind of hold it down while our edges kind of get to the QB. Tavondre Sweat, Fisk, Jenkins, Mason Smith, Leonard Taylor, and McKinney Jackson. These are all players in the interior line that would be kind of neat. Fisk had a very good combine. He was quite slick, had a great situation there, great performance. I would like someone maybe like McKinley Jackson, 6'1", 326 pounds. Dude's just big. He's a big dog. And if he has a C at least in finesse, then we can turn this guy whichever we want. For me, that's a big positive for us. Linebackers, it was Chop Robinson, Braswell, and Peyton Wilson were the only ones I saw on the left outside linebacker spot. Interior line, I looked at some others here in day 2, in Colson, Trotter, and Gray, and then day 3s were Jalen Ford, Olufasheo, and Tyrese Knight. I thought he had some good athletic ability that could play special teams down the road initially, and then maybe take over if possible. Dallas Turner looked clean. Edwin Cooper looked like a good spot. Jonah Ellis. Adisa Isaac to me is just more of a freak athlete than anything else. I think this is a guy that could, maybe play special teams initially. We've had some ties to Penn State on some of that stuff, but maybe you can develop into something as well. So if he falls to third, that could help us out down the road. And then I like these day 3 guys right here: Trevin Wallace, James Williams, and Tyron Hopper. These are just freaks, so that'd be fun. The corner group, I'm trying to see if maybe we can wait on this one. But if someone like Kool-Aid or Kamari Lassiter or Anish Rakestraw fall to us in the second, we got to try. Max Melton would be my next opportunity, and then I would maybe wait here. Now, there was a guy in the day 3 spot that I really liked in DeCamry, and Richardson had a really good combine as far as the 40 was concerned. 4.28 in college, 4.34 in the combine. Dude's pretty agile, change of direction solid, and when you got good speed on him too, like, we can kind of work with that. He also matches his height and weight, that can play on the outside as well as the inside, so versatility is key. Free safety: Tyler Nubin, Javon Bullard, and Bo Braid. These are guys I'm looking at to be drafted, depending on what's possible. Those are the ones I'm looking for there. And then the strong safety group, more day 3 than anything else. I like Sion Vaki, man. I'm a big fan of him coming out of Utah. Dude, I think he's not necessarily the fastest, but with a solid change of direction, my hope is he can just thump. We need thumpers out there. Katan Oladapo is another guy right here in Oregon State. I think he can do all the right things for us too at strong safety and growing that young core. So that's where we stand right now with the draft board. Definitely excited to see what happens here, right? Who's going to make it? We got 64 players on our roster. After the draft, we will have 70, which is a good spot for the Giants to kind of make some decisions that way. But I think we got a good crew, man. We just got to play smart and prepare for this one. But this is going to be fun, and I am looking forward to jumping into this. So here we go, folks. We are heading to the NFL draft. So with the first pick in the draft here, it is now in the hands of the Chicago Bears. Everything's pointing to them to go after Caleb. They have built their team to really support a rookie QB. I think they're in a good spot here. This is going to be fun. The Chicago Bears take Caleb Williams. No surprise here, but this is nice to see that the Chicago Bears have made some moves. Justin Fields is now a backup QB for the Steelers. Who knows? He may start there, but this is a nice move for the Bears at this time. Commanders are up, and they're going to go ahead and take Jaden Daniels. So Daniels has moved up the board here. They get their guy. Commanders have a good group, man. Their defense is getting stacked. I think they have some possibilities there with a good veteran running back in Austin Eckler. He's got some good receivers in Dotson and McLaren, so I can't go wrong there. Now the Patriots are up, and the Patriots are going to take Drake May. So now they have their QB, right? That's their guy. That's who they want. That's who they'll take. Drake May is heading to New England. They got some pieces. They got some things to work on, right? So now they have a QB. The goal is, can they find some players to wrap around him and support him to ensure he's going to be okay? That O-line's honestly not in a bad spot. With Bakhtiari there, good veteran tackle, and Onwenu at right tackle, I think the bookends are set. Just got to figure out how to make sure all the other pieces work together. Now, this is the surprise here, right? The Cardinals, they have Taylor Decker. They only got 2 wide receivers on the roster. So with Decker there, does it change their mind, or do they go after another O-lineman? Let's see what they decide to do here. And they're going to go big move. They snag up the best defensive player projected in this year's draft. They don't go wide receiver. They go Dallas Turner. This is insane. You would think they would go wide receiver, but they definitely have needs everywhere. What a move. Now, the Vikings gave up their first, their 2 first-round picks. Are they going to go for somebody else now, or are they going to get the best wide receiver in this year's draft, or do they get a QB? And they go Joe Alt! What are the Vikings doing? You traded all that capital to just go there. What are you doing? Vikings had a shot at a QB and they let it roll. And the Giants now have an opportunity here, right? What do we do? Do we move back a little bit and, you know, collect some capital? Or do we just allow this to move here? We got some decent wide receivers across the board, but this is a move we gotta take. Man, I thought the Vikings would have had a shot at a QB, but I guess they chose not to, which is pretty insane. We get a chance to select any of these guys, and I think there's nothing wrong with doing it. You know, Marvin Harrison Jr. was in our other series there, and I didn't think MHJ would fall to us again. I thought there would be a better setup there, but you know, there's no way I'm taking JJ McCarthy here. If you had a choice between a wide receiver and a QB, one's higher on your board than the other, you got to take the higher one. And MHJ to me is just a bigger deal. So welcome to the team, Marvin Harrison Jr. Look at this too. It says best fit is for the Cardinals, and he let the man go. I don't know. Like if we were to move down, I would need a haul to move down. Like I'm talking at least the first and second this year, potential first next year, to allow this guy to go. Now, another team that could be trying to move up maybe for a wide receiver could be maybe the Raiders or something like that, but I think for me, I got to stick to my guns here. This is an easy play. Marvin Harrison Jr., welcome to the New York Football Giants. Easy play, 91 speed, 91 acceleration, 89 change of direction. This is a great player here. It helps us out. We got a decent group of wide receivers right now on the roster, right? You got guys like Chase Claypool and Cedric Wilson that are taking some pretty cheap deals to be here. Who knows if they make the team? Who knows if the rest of the guys make the team? But this is a good move for us. Now that I'm definitely excited to see how the rest of this draft rolls. Vikings, Joe Alt, dude. They got such a stacked crew. I don't even know how that makes any sense. Vikings really botched that one. Titans are up now. The Titans are going to go ahead and take Brock Bowers. So here is where they did some moves in the offseason free agency to set up themselves to get the best player available. And the Titans get a chance to get that done here. It's a nice move for them. Falcons are up now, and they're going to go ahead and take Byron Murphy. So Dallas Turner was their pick the entire time, and the Cardinals really changed that up. I'm shocked by it, but, you know, Cardinals are going to do Cardinals things. It's kind of insane. Falcons get a DT. They need to continue to grow that youth. They've used the entire offseason to grow their free agents, to grow their offense, so they're good there. Bears are up now, and they're going to snag up Malik Neighbors. So nice to see Malik Neighbors there go. He's going to be paired up with Caleb Williams. They have a stacked offense now. Let's see what they do with the rest of their draft. Jets are up now, and they're going to go corner Quinion Mitchell. We'll consider the best corner in this year's draft. You know, you can say Terrion Arnold or Nate Wiggins, but I think Quinion Mitchell paired up with freaking Sauce Gardner. That's going to be a great defense for years to come. Now the Chargers have 2 first-round picks here. Let's see what they do with their first pick. They're going to go ahead and snag up Nate Wiggins. They do need a corner, so that's a good move for them. Continue to grow that space. The wide receiver group, Roman Dunze is still out there, but maybe he falls. Broncos are up. Quarterback is still there. Broncos are going to take Laiatu Latu. So they have no quarterback on the roster. They just figure someone's going to fall maybe. Kind of crazy, but Laiatu Latu falls to the Broncos. The Raiders are up now, and the Raiders take a corner in Cooper DeJean. I think that's a good move for them. They get a pretty solid corner there. He can play. He's pretty versatile. Can play safety and corner. You got the Saints coming up, and they go ahead and just get the right guy. Penning isn't it. Bashanu is now going to be their new left tackle for the future. I think that's a good move for them. Colts are up, and the Colts are going to take Jared Verse. Great decision there, right? They have all the pieces set up for them to knock it out of the park. And I think Jared Verse is a great move to allow them to just grow that defense a little bit more. They got Grover Stewart there. DeVorce Buckner still there. They got EJ Speed and Zaire Franklin. Kenny Moore, good veteran corner, so not a bad move. Seahawks are up, and the Seahawks are going to go ahead and take Jerzon Newton, just buffing up the defense there with a defensive-minded coach over in Seattle. I think that's not a bad move. I wouldn't have been surprised if they took a wide receiver, letting Lockett go to the Raiders, but not a bad play there. Jaguars are up, and they're going to go Terrion Arnold, cornerback. They need to get the corners, keep the corners moving, so they let Darius Williams go. Shaquille Griffin's no longer there, so they just have Campbell, and I think that's a good price right at that spot. Now the Bengals are up, and the Bengals go right tackle Talais Fuaga. He falls to them, right? J.C. Latham was a projection, but now with the movements that have occurred in this draft, it's kind of surprising, but Fuaga falls to them. Best right tackle, not a bad move, and Bengals get to improve. Rams are up. Rams lost Aaron Donald in this last offseason due to retirement, and Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to be there. I think that's a great play for them. Rams get a corner. The Steelers are up, and the Steelers go Amarius Mims, so they get the right tackle. They drafted their left tackle last year. They need a right tackle now. With Russell Wilson and Justin Fields there, they got to protect those guys for sure. Dolphins are up, and the Dolphins go right guard Graham Barton. They let Robert Hunt go. They need to continue to improve that spot. That's not a bad move for the Dolphins, but now I'm pretty sure Rome Odunze is going to go right here with the Eagles. No, they go Jackson Powers Johnson. Oh my goodness, I didn't expect that. I would have thought Rome Odunze there because they would do that, but I guess they got Cam Jurgens, but maybe they don't have faith in him for the long haul, so they're going to go Jackson Powers Johnson there. Maybe Jackson plays the right guard for a little bit because Cam Jurgens is playing center, but we'll see how this all works out. Chargers' second pick in the first round is up, and they're going to go ahead and take J.C. Latham. So they move back and still are able to get a right tackle. I think that's a great move for them. They got a corner. Now they got themselves a tackle. I would have thought wide receiver, but still not a bad move for them. Vikings really crapped the bed here. Cowboys are up, and they'll go Kamari Lassiter out of Georgia. They get a corner that they need. They got Bland, they got Diggs. They let Gilmore go, so now we'll see what happens here. Packers are up at pick 25, and they go Chop Robinson. So some of their players are getting older, right? So they need to figure out how to keep it going. Lucas Van Ness was a great pick for them last season. He's starting to get find his way through that. Quay Walker's been playing good for them. They got Rashawn Gary, who they paid quite a bit. Preston Smith's getting a little older. You got Clark over there getting older, so they're going to continue to grow the youth of that defensive side. Buccaneers are up, and the Buccaneers take Rome Odunze, the heir apparent to Mike Evans. They got Godwin there, they got Evans there, and now they got Rome Odunze for Baker Mayfield. The fact that he fell this far, it's kind of crazy, but that's a great move for the Buccaneers here. Now the Cardinals' second pick is up, and the Cardinals are going to take left tackle Jordan Morgan. So they need O-line. They already have a left tackle in Taylor Decker, but they could probably move Jordan Morgan into right guard and left guard initially, and then when it's time to move on, they can move him over to left tackle after the fact. I think that's a good move for them. They have Jonah Williams on the team too for some versatility on the tackle side. So again, I thought they would go wide receiver. Cardinals and the Vikings have been the mystery for me so far in this one. Bills are up, and they're going to take Edgrin Cooper. Their defense has been decimated with cuts. They no longer have Trey White. They no longer have Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. They only got Matt Milano, and he's been injury prone. They let Tyrell Dotson go, so Bills finding some room there. Lions are up at pick 29, and they're going to take Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. You figure you can move Guyton over to left tackle, give him an opportunity to play there. Penei Sewell's their solid right tackle. That's the best tackle in the draft at this point. So they just figure he's going to switch and move to that side, and we'll see what happens. The Ravens are up, and the Ravens are going to take Enis Rakestraw. This is crazy how far he just moved into the draft. corners taken there, as some other corners were already gone. So Rakestraw has to come up and they got to take them, and that's a good move for the Ravens right there. Niners are up, and the Niners are going to take free safety Tyler Nubin. They're continuing to grow that defense. They got to make sure that they got some good guys playing center field, and Nubin's the best in this year's draft. The Chiefs are up, and the Super Bowl champions take Tavondre Sweat. They need to keep reloading that defensive line. They let some guys go like Noddy that we now have, and Chris Jones isn't going to get any younger, so I think that's a good move for them. Now with the Panthers up here at pick number in the second round, let's see what they decide to do. The Panthers are going to go ahead and take Troy Fautanu, left guard. This is a great move for them, right? Now, they got Damian Lewis already, but the way I look at it with Fautanu is he can play left guard, he can play left tackle. So they have some versatility there. They let Braden Christensen go. He is now with the Lions, so not a bad move for them. The Commanders are up, and the Commanders are going to take Darius Robinson. They are going to improve that D-line. Not a bad play right there. They get a chance to hopefully make it work in Washington, and they find that new brand of football there. Patriots are up. They got that quarterback in the first round. Now they get a left tackle for the future, right? They got Bakhtiari, but Bakhtiari won't be there forever. So them snagging up Kingsley Suamaitai, they get their future tackle, and they let it roll. Cardinals are up here, and they're going to go ahead and take a center in Zach Frazier. So they still have yet to get a wide receiver, which is insane. They're just bulking up their O-line, I guess. Again, weird situation going on in Arizona and Minnesota, but them's the games. Here comes the Chargers here at fifth pick in the second round, and they're going to take J.J. McCarthy, and there you have it. Harbaugh, who's right now it's actually a Rivera because you don't have Harbaugh in the game, but the Chargers snag up a QB. They say, hey man, best freaking player available there. It's Michigan with Michigan, and crazy, but JJ looks to be the guy over in Los Angeles now behind Herbert. Panthers are up, and they're going to go Mike Sainristil, corner. I think that's a good play for them. Titans are up. They're going to take Brian Thomas Jr., who's fallen out of the first round. That is a steal. They got a stacked wide receiver core there, man. Traylon Burks is at the bottom of that. He's number 5. They got Calvin Ridley. They have, DeAndre Hopkins. So getting someone like Brian Thomas, that's a great play for them to continue to build around a quarterback. The Falcons are up, and they go Braylon Trice. Good move there. Commanders here. They got another pick in the second round, and it is going to be Chris Braswell. Great move for them. Can't complain there, man. They find their guy. That's a good play for the Commanders. The Packers are up, and they go Bo Nix. So they're going, hey, man, if Love doesn't accept it, we got a QB to set us up. They just snagged up all the QBs here. I can essentially see a QB taken over with the Raiders. So we'll see what happens on this one. Texans are up here, and the Texans are going to take Peyton Wilson, left outside linebacker. I think that's a good move for the Texans. Continue to grow that defense under DeMeco Ryans. And there it is, Michael Penix. He is going to the freaking Saints. Derek Carr is not getting any younger, and they got a really good tackle and ram check, so I think this is a great pick for them. They knew if they didn't take him, the Raiders probably would have, and the Raiders are up, and they're going to go free safety Javon Bullard. I think that's a great move for them. You are talking about a really legit free safety there. Trevon Morg is good, but Bullard could be the future. Eagles are up, and the Eagles are going to take here Adonai Mitchell. There you go. That's the receiver. I knew they were going to take a receiver. I just thought it was going to be in the first round, but Adonai Mitchell falls here. Great play for them. Colts are up, and the Colts are going to take Patrick Paul, left tackle, just improving that O-line there, and we are up now. So knowing that You know, we got some decent amount of O-line that we have picked up in the offseason. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to snag up a guy here that I really like. Christian Haynes, to me, is one of my favorite prospects. The guy is pretty slick. He had a really good combine. And to me, we're just going to bulk up this O-line for the future. Like I said, I don't know what happens with Evan Neal. Illuminor is just a small fit, a short-term fix. And we need to ensure that we continue to grow this O-line and you know, have it set up. The trenches are important. I'd love to get something here as far as a linebacker maybe, but I think right now we got to roll with what we got, and this is a big play. Christian Haynes, welcome to the team. Hidden Dev, 85 strength, 80 jumping, 72 speed with an 80 acceleration. So this is a guy here that we could put into the O-line immediately if we wanted to. And this gives us a chance right now to where if something happens to Evan Neal, we really don't care. We get a chance to hold on to him, and I think this is a right play for us. Jaguars are up here at pick 17, and they're going to take Xavier Worthy. They get the speedster, the guy who broke the combine record at the 40. I think that's a good play for them. They got Kirk, and don't really have much that I can think of as far as wide receivers after that, so not a bad play for them. Bengals are up here, and they're going to take Ladd McConkey. I don't think there's anything wrong with that move. Rams are up, and they're going to take Junior Colson. Interesting move right there. I would think they would try to take some other setup in that space, but Junior Colson, maybe he's the best guy on their board. So Steelers are up. They're going to go strong safety Kalen Bullock. You got the Dolphins coming up, and they go Cooper Beebe. So the Dolphins continue to focus on growing that O-line. Losing, that's pretty interesting there. The Eagles are up. They go Theo Johnson. Eagles find a really nice piece right there. They're continually trying to find ways to give possibilities for Hurts to grow in this new offense. The Browns are up here at pick number 23 of the second round. They go wide receiver Troy Franklin. I think that's a great move. With the cut of Mari Cooper, who's now in the Lions, I think they just need to continue to grow in that space. The Cowboys are up, and they're going to take running back Trey Benson. You knew that was going to happen eventually, right? They brought Ezekiel Elliott back, but there was no way they were just going to roll with him. And I think Trey Benson definitely is a Cowboy type move. Packers are up here, and they're going to go corner TJ Tampa out of Iowa State. You got the Bucks getting the combine Darnold and Braden Fisk. He's a different type of DT compared to Vita Vea. That's a great play there. You got the Texans up, and they're going to go corner Max Melton. Great play for them. The Bills are up, and they go Roman Wilson. That's a great move for them. You know, Diggs is there. I don't really have much after Diggs, so great play for Roman Wilson. Good move, good rook. Lions are up, and they go Chris Jenkins. So Chris gets to stay in freaking Michigan, just like his counterpart, his former teammate in Aiden Hutchinson. I think that's a great storyline there. Good move. They got DJ Reader. They got Aleem McNeil, but, you know, they continue to buff up that D-line. Nothing wrong with that, man. Good play there. Ravens are up, and they go Jonah Ellis, linebacker. The Niners are up here, and they're going to take Ricky Pearsall. Great move for them, right? They don't know what's going to happen to Ayuk, and Ricky Pearsall can take over for Juwan Jennings there in their lineup there. Not bad. And then Blake Corum, he's going to the Chiefs. Dude, the rich get richer, huh? Unbelievable. Great play there. Blake Corum heading to Kansas City. In the third round now, the Panthers are up, and they're going to take Ben Sinnott. They get some more weapons there for Bryce. Defensive tackle or Horho out of Clemson going to the Commanders. You got the Patriots up, and they're going to take Mason Smith out of LSU. Cardinals are back up, and they're going to take Chris Abrams-Drain, corner out of Missouri. They do need a corner, but I think they need wide receivers more. Kind of crazy. And then you got the Chargers taking Jonathan Brooks right before us. Great play for them. They figure, you know what, we need a running back. It's time to make that move in the third round. It's not a bad play. So how I'm looking at it is trying to see if, one, we can help out the Seahawks. They need a wide receiver according to their needs. I'm willing to move back 10 spots in the 3rd round, and that still gives me an opportunity to grab a 6th and a 7th this year. I think this is a fair move. Seahawks get like a mid-level type of wide receiver. Just another big target there for Geno Smith and Sam Howell potentially. And we get some additional picks in the late rounds, which I think wouldn't be bad. We can kind of work through that. Trade has been accepted, and I think this is a fair deal for us and a fair deal for them. So we move around, maneuver in the draft, and I think that's a decent spot. Chase Claypool was really just here just to be parked, and now he's heading to another team going across the country. Seahawks are up now, and they're going to take Kalen Carson, corner. They're going to roll with that. Cardinals take Jeremiah Trotter, who's fallen this far, which is kind of crazy. You got the Falcons going big receiver Johnny Wilson. Not a bad player, man. I think what could potentially happen there with Johnny Wilson is he could get converted to a tight end, and now you have him and Pitts. That's a pretty nasty combo. Bears are up, and they're going to take Marshawn Nealon. He was projected to be a day 3 guy, so this might have been a reach for the Bears. Jets are up, and they're going to go wide receiver Keon Coleman. He's fallen this far, kind of crazy there. Not a bad move. Bucks are up, and they go Jatavian Sanders. He's going to head to Tampa, leave via Texas there. Good move. And Bucks have a pretty good draft so far. The Commanders are up, and they're going to go Michael Hall Jr. out of Ohio State. Raiders are up, and they're going to go Adisa Isaac right before us. And the Broncos are up. They go Leonard Taylor out of Miami. And the Colts take Jalen Wright, running back. Whoa. They're buffing up that group right there. So I think this is the move for us after kind of debating through it. Brandon Dorless out of Oregon. He's got B finesse move, potentially A to C block shed. A tackle on him. He's a bigger kind of guy, not the fastest 40, but I think he's got some solid attributes here that we can work with. He's a bigger kind of guy, run stopper. I think we can leverage Dorless, continue to grow the trenches the way I would like. This is a nice move for us. This is Norm Dev, 83 strength, 78 speed, 84 acceleration. But I think Dorless has some good traits, the A play rec to be one of them. So it's a good move. We moved back a couple spots and accumulated some more late round picks, so I'm cool with that. Falcons are up here, and the Falcons are going to go ahead and take Cedric Gray, middle linebacker. Bengals are up here, and they're going to take Karan Amagadeji. Rams are up, and they're going to go ahead and snag up Christian Mahogany. The Steelers are up. They go Jermaine Burton out of Alabama. You got Xavier Legette falling to the Dolphins. Great move for them. Texans are up, and they're going to go Jaden Hicks, strong safety. Browns are up. They're going to take Spencer Rattler. So the guy who, the team that pulled the trigger on this guy ends up being the Cleveland Browns. You know, they got Dorian Thompson there, but they figure Spencer Rattler could do some work. Zach Zinter. Maybe he's the new heir apparent for the Cowboys, Zach Martin. Packers are up. They're going to go Braylon Allen. They got A.J. Dillon there. They got Josh Jacobs. I'm not quite sure what Braylon will do, but we'll see how that works out for him. Buccaneers are up. They go Cole Bishop, free safety. The Cardinals are up. They go Cameron Kitchens. Still no wide receiver in the draft. Tiki Smith heading to the Packers. Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon going to the Lions. You got Cade Stover heading to the Baltimore Ravens. So incredible tight end crew for them already. Bucky Irving heads to the Niners. I was hoping he would have made it to us, but wishful thinking there. Josh Newton going to the Chiefs. Now we're in the 4th round here, and it starts with Will Shipley going to the Panthers. Seahawks take Matt Goncalves out of Pittsburgh, right tackle. Pats take Cedric Von Prawn. I think that's a good move for them. Patriots continue to grow that O-line. Mekhi Wingo. Cardinals again, no wide receivers. You got the Chargers taking Bo Brad. Unbelievable, dude. He was a day 3 freaking mark. And this guy ends up going to the Chargers. They got Alohi Gilman there. But the Chargers disrupt our draft here. So this isn't really a reach, and this is really more of a gut feeling for me. The fact that Dominic Pooney has fallen this far is kind of unjustifiable. But when I see a guy like this, these were one of my top O linemen that I was looking to grab. I can't complain. You get a guy here that we could probably have him play center if we need to, play in the interior line if needed, and again, it just gives us more options in the trenches. So I'm pretty happy about this. This gives us an opportunity to just be more versatile. The tackle situation definitely is still a focus down the road, but you know, I think Dominic Pooney can do some good things for us, so I'm happy to grab him here. Hidden Dev, 86 strength, 60 speed, 74 agility. I think what we can do with Dominic Pooney is maybe try him out at center during this preseason. See what happens if JMS ends up getting hurt, but we got somebody here that can take over if needed. So great move for us on that end. Titans are up here in pick number 7. They go Tommy Eichenberg, middle linebacker. Falcons take Bo Limmer. That was another guy I was thinking about there, but it's tough. Javon Foster out of Missouri, falling to the Bears here in the 4th round. Cam Hart, corner, ends up going to the Ravens there. You got the Steelers taking Kalen King out of Penn State. You got the Jets taking Michael Pratt, quarterback out of Tulane. You got Marshawn Lloyd out of USC going to the Raiders. They're having some competition over there. Trevin Wallace, right outside linebacker, to the Jags. Muhammad Kamara out of Colorado State going to the Colts. Sion Vaki heading to the Seahawks. Tip Raymond going to the Falcons there. Johnny Wilson is already there, kind of great. Tyler Davis, Cincy. Austin Booker going to the Steelers. Eagles are up, and they're going to take Audric Esteem. You got Saquon. I don't know much more you need there, but that's hilarious. Blake Fisher, right tackle, going to the Broncos. Jalen Polk heading to Cleveland. Good move for them. You got Jaheim Bell heading to the Texans out of Florida State. Christian Jones going to the Niners there. I think that's a good play. You got the Packers, pick number 25 in the 4th round, going Julian Pearl. You got the Buccaneers going Isaac Garendo. Oh, that's brutal. And then you got James Williams, another guy that we wanted. He goes to the Texans. So some pretty decent players now in this range falling. Satoa Luamea heading to the Vikings. Jared Wiley to the Jets. And then you got Javion Cohen going to the Niners. Sam Hartman going to the Chiefs. And good leader right there. Jalen Simpson, free safety, going to the Broncos via Auburn. Second pick in the 5th round is going to Commanders, Roger Rosengorton. Next pick is Ray Davis. Oh, come on, man. Out of Kentucky. You got DJ James out of Auburn going here. And then you got Keaton Oladapo. So the free safeties that I really wanted are no longer there. I think grabbing a corner here wouldn't be a bad move. DeCamerion Richardson, right? We got a decent amount of corners here, but this guy has some crazy speed on him. He was a combine darling for the this year, and coming out of Ole Miss, 22 years old. You can't teach speed, and I think what we can do here is maybe leverage him and see if he can play slot or play on the outside. So welcome to the team. 95 speed, 88 change of direction, 93 acceleration. I think this is a good play for us, man. You got a guy that we can depend on, and I think this looks really good for the Giants. Just a good corner. Norm Dev, but it's not bad. Just more solid corners, depth there. Panthers are up, and they're going to go ahead and take Jalen Ford. You got the Falcons coming up. They're going to go ahead and take Layden Robinson. Bills are up, and the Bills take Javon Solomon. Broncos are up, and the Broncos go ahead and snag up Brandon Coleman. Eagles are up. They're going to take, here in the 5th round, Gabriel Murphy. Broncos take Nelson Caesar. You got the Raiders taking Jarvis Brownlee Jr. out of Louisville. You got Renardo Green corner going to the Saints. Colts take McKinley. Come on, man. Crazy. Dylan Laub going to the Commanders. Justin Aboigbe going to the Jags. Tanner Bartolini, center, going to the Bengals. Rams take Dylan Johnson out of Washington. You got Curtis Jacobs here going to the Rams. That's a good find. Nathaniel Watson, middle linebacker, to the Dolphins. Adefwan Olufasheo to the Browns. Vikings take Jordan Travis. So they didn't take a quarterback until the 5th freaking round, dude. They made all that maneuvers to just do that. That is hilarious. I guess Sam Darnold's their dog. We'll see how that works out. Drake Nugent, center, going to the Chiefs. Dadrian Taylor DeMarson going to the Bills. Malik Mustafa to the Titans. Dylan Holker to the Broncos. Then you got the Bills taking here Cedric Johnson. You got the Lions taking Ryan Flournoy. Devontae Walker heads to the Ravens there. I think that's a great move for them. Potential kick returner, if anything. And Garrett Greenfield, he didn't make it to us. Panthers take him. Brevin Spanford. Then the Vikings go ahead and snag up Jamari Thrash. Now this is best available here. 6'2", 231 run stopper. Tyron Hopper had a pretty good freaking combine. He's an athlete. You leverage him for special teams, if anything. His injury is B, but he's got good tackle, decent possibilities across the board. This is a good move for us. 6'2", 231. He's a bigger guy, a little older as well. Coming out of Missouri, Tyron Hopper, welcome to the team. 87 speed, 88 acceleration, 76 change of direction. But again, right, I wanted to get a linebacker here because we got a pick coming up again soon, and I'm cool with any wide receiver if they fall to us there. Patriots are up, and they're going to go ahead and take A.J. Barner, tight end out of Michigan. You got the Steelers going J.D. Bertrand, and then the Chargers take Tanner McLaughlin here. So again, they refuse to take a wide receiver. I think for me, I'm cool with taking Malachi Corley here. This guy's a dog. I think Brendan, yeah, he didn't have as much of a better deal on this end in the combine compared to him. So I think this is a good move for us. Playmaker, scheme fit, 5'11", 215. Welcome to the squad here. You know, we got a good group. 89 speed, 91 acceleration, 85 change of direction. It just gives us a chance to continue to grow. I kept seeing him fall, man. I'm like, you got to try. We got to try to grab him, and I'm glad we did in that space right there. So we don't have another pick until the 7th round, and this is where, you know, let me double check my board real quick. So the Titans are up, and they're going to go ahead and take Gabe Hall. You got the Eagles coming up here. They're going to go ahead and grab Delmar Glaze, left tackle. Dolphins are up. They take Joe Milton out of Tennessee, man. Oh my gosh, that's insane. Oh my gosh, that was who I was looking to do. I was going to trade the Cardinals and, you know, for like Cedric Wilson and then move up and take Joe Milton. But that's tough. That's tough right there. Jets are up. They go Jerry and Jones. You got the Cardinals taking Evan Williams there. The Raiders in the 6th round are going to go ahead and grab up Zion. There you go. That's another guy that I'm a fan of. Cho Smith-Wade going to the Texans. You got the Saints taking Josh Proctor, free safety. You got Andrew Rame out of Oklahoma. Seahawks are going to go ahead and take Eric All out of Iowa. Patriots take Johnny Dixon, Penn State. CJ Hansen out of Holy Cross is going to the Cincinnati Bengals. You got Trevor Keegan going to the Bills. Charles Turner to the Steelers. And Andrew Coker going to the Dolphins. John Campbell, heading right tackle, going to the Saints. Malik Washington, heading to the Falcons. Elijah Jones to the Bills. Josiah Ezerim, right tackle, going to the Packers. Maris Uifwa to the Lions. Brendan Rice. So Jalen Polk and Brendan Rice fall to the Browns. I think that's a great move. They continue to grow, man. I think that's kind of clean for them. Marquez Cox, left tackle, going to the Bills. Panthers take Travis Glover. Broncos take Javontes Spraggins. Then you got Mason McCormick there, going to the Niners, left guard. Baylor Cup, tight end, going to the Raiders. Titans take Hunter Norzad out of Penn State. Trice Knight out of UTEP, that was on my board. Man, Dejuan Edwards, that's 2 running backs in this draft. They're just trying to figure it out. The Cardinals take right guard. Man, the Cardinals, I'd be surprised if they don't get fired. Tank Jenkins going to the Chargers. Cardinals up again. They go Dwight McGlothern. Raiders take Dominique Richardson, Texas A&M. Browns are up. Andrew Phillips. Patriots are up. They're going to go ahead and take Keith Randolph. Ravens take Jalen McMillan out of Washington. That's a good move. And we go quarterback, Devin Leary. I accidentally pressed it, but I'm cool with it. I like this move. We take a chance on a quarterback from Kentucky. He's honestly pretty decent. He's not the greatest, but we'll put him on the practice squad maybe. Maybe he makes it there, and then, or maybe we'll keep him on the roster and DeVito goes to the practice squad. But I think that's not a bad play there. So now that the draft is over, the Giants have made their moves. I thought we actually had a decent draft, right? We get a chance to just kind of move forward with a lot of key pieces here, and let's check out our draft class. So the first pick in the draft ends up being Marvin Harrison Jr. for us. I think that's a great move. We get a guy I can depend on here in Marvin Harrison Jr. I really like this guy. I'm shocked that he fell to us. If it can happen, it will be an amazing feat if it does. I'll be pumped. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, we should have grabbed it. No, you grab the best player that you can get, and the 4th best quarterback on the board compared to the best weapon on the board. I will always take the weapon. You can teach the other places, and I think our line's working out. We ended up getting Christian Haynes here, another hidden dev, which I thought is a good move for us. This guy is a beast. We can grow him. We have him at right guard. So again, in case injuries happen, we can cycle him through, give him an opportunity to just kind of grow in this space. But it's a nice play for us, and I'm really happy to have some depth in the O-line now I can depend on. We snagged up Brandon Dorless, Norm Dev, but this guy, to me, man, I think he could be something special. He's a big dog, and that gives us a chance right there with a 70 overall from the get to actually have a shot at winning it, right? Yannick Ngakwe's on this team for a cheap deal. Doesn't mean he'll make it. There's some D-line that we have that don't necessarily make it. Now, Pooney, hidden dev guy, this is a guy I'm cool to just let him develop behind Runyon. We also have Justin Pugh here to be a mentor, so Pooney can just grow. Coming out of Kansas, I'm happy we grabbed 2 guards. The fact that it fell this far, man, you got to take it. You can't just ignore it. Now, DeCamerion Richardson is a 71 overall. He's a scheme fit. He's got some things to work on across the board, but man, oh man, you can't teach speed. And with the 71 overall, it's going to be really fun to see him grow on this squad. Now, Tyron Hopper is a little bit of a reach in the late rounds, but honestly, 87 speed, 88 acceleration, I can't teach that. I'm looking forward to seeing how this guy plays out there. You're talking about an athlete that can help us out in special teams, and that's going to be a big focus for us there. I want my special teams to be in a really nice spot. You can't complain when these guys are making it work there. Now, Malachi Corley is a 73 overall wide receiver. He fell. And I can train this guy. With his overall the way it is, we can work through this, man. 85 change of direction. He's got a decent release from the get. You're talking about a guy here that could really surprise us, right? We got some guys on the outside now. Now we get a chance to have some guys play some potential slot roles. I think that's going to be pretty fun. So I'm pretty excited to see how he works out. This will be kind of neat, man. He's a good player. Just got to hope that it works out the way I would like here. And then the last pick of the draft was Devin Leary. Shocked that he made it, but 60 overall is not bad. His throw power is kind of weak. He can hit the short range, which is fine. He's more of a pocket guy, but you know, maybe we leverage him. He's a little bit of an older cat, and I think you know, he can do some things in that space. So not a bad draft. I thought we did good. Like I said, I tried my best to kind of maneuver the draft in certain spots, but look at this, right? They end up taking a tackle, which I don't think they needed. They end up snagging a guard later, and then they go Jordan Travis in the 5th round. I thought that was really strange. Jamari Thrash at the end wasn't bad, and Jawar Jordan, I guess, but I don't know why they did that. Joe Alt is incredible. I get it, but my goodness, that was a horrendous move. And then you look at the Cardinals. Cardinals did everything they possibly could to not get a wide receiver. They do get with one of the best freaking defensive players in the draft, and then they snag up Jordan. They snag up Morgan with a hidden dev. But I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do? You don't have anyone to throw to. They grabbed really legit players though, right? Chris Abrams, hidden dev. You're talking Zach Frazier here. He's a decent prospect. And then I assume Trotter's got to be a hidden dev. Nope, he's normal dev out of Clemson, but that's still a very good player there. They had a decent draft, man. I just am shocked no wide receivers. Like, that's the thing that bugs me right there, is you got all these picks, but no wide receivers. Chargers, too, did some weird stuff. No wide receivers. They grabbed a J.J. McCarthy just out of spite. And then they grabbed Jonathan Brooks in the 3rd round, which I thought was ridiculous out of Texas. So, you know, they're doing some things. I didn't expect it, man. It was really strange. Now, when we look at our guys across the league for our division, right? Let's look first at the Commanders. How do the Commanders do? They grabbed Jaden Daniels here. That's going to be a fun matchup to go against twice a year. He's a decent OVR, 74. They grabbed Darius Robinson out of Missouri. Normal dev, didn't have the greatest of combines, but I think this guy's a very good player nonetheless. They then go Chris Braswell, which I thought was pretty amazing. Normal dev out of Alabama, but this is a very good player. Again, that they're really bulking up that defense. And then they went defense again with Orhorho, defensive tackle. It's norm dev, but their overalls are putting them at a decent base. And then they grabbed Michael Hall, hidden dev, 69. So they just kept trying to hit, and it finally did there. But really tough draft to see there. Cowboys didn't have much, but they grabbed Kamari Lassiter in the 1st round, which I thought was a good move for them. They're going best player available. They have to retool that entire defense. Then they snagged up Trey Benson, which to me was a very good move for them. Best running back in this year's draft. And then you're talking about Zach Zinter here. I think that's a good move for them. Hidden dev. They can grow him, make it work out. You're talking about Jacob Cowing in the 7th round, I think is a good find. 72 overall, 93 speed, wide receiver there. Then they go Nehemiah Pritchett in the 7th round. Again, another player that can just kind of lean on later down the road. So good move for the Cowboys, I guess. But now here's the Eagles. Eagles, to me, I did not expect it. Roma Dunze was there, and they said, no, we're going to go freaking Jackson Powers Johnson here, 73 overall. You know, he could be the next potential center. He's probably one of the better pure centers, so maybe Cam Jurgens goes back to right guard. Adonai Mitchell, though, 76 overall. Freaking, this is incredible. 95 speed, 92 acceleration. This is a very good player. Kind of interesting on that one, but I didn't expect it. And then you got yourselves Theo Johnson. I think that's a good move for them. He had a really good combine, 69 hidden dev, so they're gonna grow him. Audric Esteem, 72 overall running back. Norm Dev out of Notre Dame. Not the fastest guy, but he can do some work. They ended up getting Gabriel Murphy later, and then a Delmar Glaze. So interesting. You know, I didn't expect some of these moves, but you know, what are you gonna do there? And then Johnny Wilson, right? I think with 6'6", 231, more than likely he could play tight end, and I think that could really help out the Falcons' weapons with. Yep, and it changed him to a 74 with Kirk Cousins. You get Cedric Gray, man. They had a really good draft. Thought the Jaguars getting Xavier Worthy with 99 speed is going to be fun to see. Hopefully, when we go against him, I don't got to worry about it. But that is a freak of nature right there. We'll see how he ends up working out in this year's season. The Terrion Arnold I thought was a good move. Jets grabbed the best freaking corner out there in Quinion Mitchell, but then getting Keon Coleman was such a nice find. 74 overall, but this is a guy, again, you can kind of just train and let him kind of learn along the way. That's a good move for them. They get a quarterback in the 4th round, Michael Pratt, so just some potential there. I thought this Guyton move was kind of interesting, right? They got Penei Sewell, but with Hidden Dev, you know, maybe you move him over to left tackle, which we'll go ahead and do here. They don't have one. I thought they're going to get Suamaitai, but I guess Guyton was a better one. So they moved him to left tackle. He's got good speed, acceleration there, so he could work out. So they got him. I like I said, I tried my best to make some moves. It just didn't work out. Kind of strange, but it is what it is. Packers actually just loaded up again. Good plays, man. So Fautanu. You know, they have someone for the future there. Kind of wondering what they're going to do with the tackle situation. But Fautano could play left tackle if need be. But they have Damian Lewis there, so maybe Fautano plays a little bit here for a little bit for a while until they figure it out. That Greenfield one's a steal. Drake May and then Suamaitai. Yeah, I think these were all good pickups. Cooper DeJean, Bullard, so they got their DB group in order. Then they go linebacker. I think wide receiver would have made sense for the Raiders. I think the Rams getting a wide receiver would have made sense too. Mahogany is a great play here. 67 overall. Norm Dev. But I think this guy's a mauler too. The Colson one's kind of strange, but Hidden Dev. We'll see how that works out for them. Yeah, so even the Ravens, they got wide receivers at the end. Tez Walker and McMillan. Like, they didn't need it, but they grabbed it. I thought that was a good move. Saints, this one hurts. Michael Penix going to the Saints is tough. I thought we could have used him. See, and that's why I was wondering if we would have moved and traded with the Vikings to move back and take 11 and then take 23. How would that have helped us out, right? We could have done that, but they probably could have ended up taking Joe Alt again. I think we probably could have moved. Maybe if you move the Vikings to the Cardinals spot, maybe the Vikings make the right move, but Joe Alt would have still been there. I just don't know, man. It was really weird. It was a really weird combine. Maybe we should make those trades prior to the move, get them all out in order. Maybe that changes their priorities. I don't know. But it was a strange decision. Those teams, like, priorities for some of these CBs or for these CPUs are really weird. But nonetheless, I think we're in a really good spot for the Giants. I think we did some really good things for our team. We didn't, reach for a lot of spots when we could have. But I think for us, we just get a chance to kind of grow this team along the way, right? I think the O-line looks like it's going to be in a pretty solid spot from the get. Now we can get a chance to grow these guys along the way and kind of see how it all works out. The tight end group did not improve. The running back group did not improve. But with J.K. Dobbins and Harris there, I'm not upset. We got Brightwell and Gray too. The wide receiver group, I think, is in a really nice spot. We got Malachi Corley in the later rounds, so he can play slot. We got McKenzie. We got Robinson, Slayton, Hyatt. We got a bunch of guys now that can really do some work. When you look at the defensive side, we got some more guys here to play on the linebacker spot. I think the D-line is going to be all right. Dorless is going to grow with Nick Ngakoue, Donna, Johnson, Riley, Nunez, Rocha. Like, I am cool with this move. And in the corner spot, I think we got so many good corners. I can make a choice now of maybe trading some guys and moving on from them and collecting some picks or improving in some other spots down the road. If someone wants to trade a free safety maybe, or a strong safety, I'm all about it. So it's going to be fun. You know, I appreciate everyone that stopped by today. A little bit of a longer recording, but I wanted to show more of the draft this time, kind of see what the logic was for some of these teams. But, you know, we'll definitely put that in some of the summaries there, how the Cardinals, the Vikings, and the Chargers kind of crapped it in this year's draft. I don't know why they do that. Some of the moves that some of these teams make, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I think when you look at the logic for some of the teams, man, like I think the Ravens draft pretty well in this game. I would say another team that's pretty decent would be maybe the Jaguars. Do some good stuff. They kind of go BPA a lot of times versus just doing some weird crap. But the Cardinals are just horrendous, man. I don't know what they're doing, but we got 71 players on the roster, so we'll look to grab 4 more prior to the preseason, and we'll kind of figure out how we want to talk through that. I got to build a new playbook for the Titans defensive playbook too, so we'll get a chance to see that. But I appreciate everyone stopping by today. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. I really appreciate everyone that stopped by. Y'all have yourself a good one, and as always, let's go Big Blue.